Hi, I'm Kim McQuitty and welcome back. As a women's pastor, as a marriage counselor, I sit and talk with a lot of couples, a lot of women, a lot of married women, women who have come to me because they're trying to work out some things in their marriage and their husband's not wanting to go to counseling. They're trying to do some things in their own hearts and get some tools and resources that they can kind of work on the relationship or work on themselves for themselves so they can become better. And one of the things I really realize in what I do is discovering how challenging communication is. There was a statistic that I read the other day, and I don't know how true it is, but when I read it, it made sense to me that 70% of communication is misunderstood. I do believe that. 70% of communication is misunderstood. People just hear things one way. They perceive it another way. They hear it differently than what it was said. You know, I did this, many of you may have done this in school. You sit in a circle and you tell the person next to you something, and they're supposed to repeat it to the person, and you go around that whole circle, and everybody's repeating what the first person said, and it's nothing like the first person said it. It's totally different. It gets so twisted, and it really gets funny by the time it gets all the way around the circle back to the original person. It's nothing like they said. Communication is a very challenging skill. And in marriage relationships, it is one of the number one problems. I have done research. I have done surveys. I have been a part of asking questions and being on panels and discussions. And one of the number one things that people say that the challenge in their marriage is communication. Communication. They don't understand how I'm saying things. He's not understanding how I'm saying it. I'm saying it one way, it's being heard another way. Communication. And communication is the lifeblood of any relationship. So today, I want to give you 13 things. You're like, 13? I'm like, yeah, well, that's just how many I have listed. I want to give you 13 practical ways that you can improve in your communication. 13 ways that you can improve your communication. I'm going to list them in the description box below. So, number 1, be empathetic. Be empathetic, not sympathetic, empathetic. Sympathy is feeling sorry for someone. Being empathetic is putting yourself in someone else's shoes. Allowing yourself to feel what they feel. Allowing yourself to experience what they're experiencing. Being empathetic. Being heartfelt. That goes a long way. It goes a long way for you to get into that moment with that person. Putting yourself in their shoes to feel what they feel. Number 2, being warm. That goes with being empathetic. It's almost hard to be empathetic without you being warm. They go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. Being warm. Literally. Warm. Inviting. Understanding. And this is going to require humility. It's going to require humility because if this is not how you're wired as a person, it's going to be a learned skill, a learned behavior that you're going to have to learn to have some effective in communication, to be practical in your communication. Number 3 leads into being genuine. Being warm and genuine, that goes hand in hand. You probably can't be fake and be warm. I mean, they go together, unless you're a great actress. But being warm and genuine, and just being empathetic goes a long way in communicating. And again, it's going to require some humility given the depth of whatever you may be dealing with in that moment concerning the situation. Number 4, this is a big one. Because we as a people, we hear what we want to hear. We have selective hearing. Number 4 is listen to hear, not just to respond. I have another video that I've done. I'm going to link it in the description box that speaks into this as well. Listen to hear, not just to respond. Even when you're hearing, repeat what you heard. If you're just listening, just so you can get a response in your mind, you've totally missed what they are saying. But when you repeat what they said and then you respond, they can let you know if this is what they said or not. Listening to hear, not just to respond. Number 5, be mindful of nonverbal communication. That's another high percentage of communication is nonverbal. You can say more with your mouth closed and your eye movement than you can vocally. I'm so serious. Body language, y'all, body language can cut somebody just by how you move, say, all the things. You think that's nonverbal communication? It's just as damaging as verbal communication. Being mindful of nonverbal communication. Number 6, watch your tone. Watch your tone. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Guys, I wish those of you who struggle in that area understand how powerful your tone is. How impactful a harsh tone is. Now I get there's needs to tones have different situations and circumstances of which they are applicable. I get that. I totally get it. I'm not saying being monotone. I'm not saying that at all. But needlessly, just being harsh and the Bible speaks a lot about our tongue. The Bible speaks a lot about words. Letting your words be few and seasoned with grace. A harsh tone is not seasoned with grace. You can have such a harsh tone in your communication towards your husband, towards your spouse, towards your husband, that it becomes white noise after so long. Because he ain't hearing you no more. He just done shut all the way down because your tone is so harsh. You can have such a harsh tone that you can be a rooftop wife. The Bible says that it is better to dwell in the corner of a home, of a mansion, than in a wide house with a brawling woman. To dwell in the corner of a home than in a rooftop. On the roof, it's different translation. Than on the roof. He'd rather be on the roof of his house than in a mansion because the wife's tone. Because she's brawling. You think brawling is kind, warm, empathetic, and compassionate? Brawling is somebody you don't want to be around. Tone matters. The only time you should be raising your voice in your home is because you're raising your voice because there's danger. And the people in there need to get out. You know, why are you raising your voice? Why is your pitch so elevated? I'm going to hang out here for a minute. Why do you always have to scream what you want? Why do you always have to say it in a condescending way? Why? Why is that? Where is that coming from? Do you really think that a man is going to rise up to that? A man will never rise up to criticism. He will never rise up to a harsh tone. And this goes both ways. This goes both ways. Your husband's tone can be just as damaging as yours, but I'm speaking to an audience of women. I'm speaking to you. Your tone matters. Your tone matters. Your tone towards your kids matter. You crush their hearts and their little spirits with a tone that's unnecessary. If you're always yelling, you're inciting fear in them. Your elevated pitch of your voice should be because there is a reason why they need to be moving out of the space that they're in. You're coming from a place of urgency. This needs to happen. And then all the emotions are going in. Not as your day-to-day life, your day-to-day interaction with your family. Tone matters. Tone matters. And let me say this before I move on to the next one. Concerning your kids. You will not know the magnitude or the depth of how much damage your tone has done to their hearts until they get older. They won't be able to articulate it as young kids, but oh, when they get older. Oh, when they get older. I just feel like I needed to hang out there a little bit longer. Your tone matters. Check your tone. Please check your tone. If you want a relationship with your children when they get older, check your tone. If you want your husband to open up in you and share with you, check your tone. Check your tone. You don't peace. You want peace. Everybody, we want, if any place you should have peace is in your home. A wise woman builds her house, but a foolish one plucks it down with her own hands. And you don't always need your hands to do that because your tone, your mouth can do that. Check your tone. Number 7, speak the truth in love. Speak the truth in love is how you say what you say. Just got you talking about tone. Speak the truth in love. The Bible says that the guilty flees when no man pursues. If you can't speak the truth about a situation you may be going through, a challenge you may be going through, something that you know that needs to be talked about, it's going to continue. You have to be able to tell the truth and speaking the truth in love. And one of the things and how you can have a hard conversation by speaking the truth in love is by using the sandwich effect. Say something positive. Speak the truth in love in here, whatever that challenge is. Close by something positive. The sandwich effect, something positive, speak the truth in love, whatever that is, that challenges, whatever you're going through, whatever you need, whatever needs to be said, and then end it with something affirming. Using the sandwich effect. The practical ways to win in your communication. Communication is a very challenging skill, but it's something that you can get good at. Number 8, don't keep secrets. Why is there a secret? What are you hiding? I'm not talking about stuff you've ordered online. Women do that, put things in closets and that. I'm not talking about things like that. I'm talking about secrets. Secrets that need to be shared. Secrets that need to be communicated. Things that need to be exposed. I've heard a pastor share this. One of the things his father taught them growing up, nothing to prove, nothing to lose, nothing to hide. You need to be vulnerable, open, transparent. I like to call it, there's an acronym I call it HOT. You need to be honest, open, and transparent. Honest, open, and transparent. At some point in time, everything that's done in the dark is going to be brought to light. If there's a secret that you're withholding, that your husband needs to know about, you may need to bring a third party in order to share it. Don't keep secrets. Number 8, clearly say what you mean. Clearly say what you mean. Clearly say what you need. Clearly say what is bothering you. Your man cannot read your mind. He is not a mind reader. Listen to this. To stuff your feelings and not deal with them is like taking termites from the living room to the basement. You don't see them anymore, but they are still destroying the house. Say what you mean. Clearly say what you mean. Clearly share what you need to say. Clearly express your disappointments. Clearly express your expectations. Unmet expectations is another challenge in marriage. Because you're expecting one thing and this guy don't even know he don't even know what you're talking about. Because you have not clearly said what you mean. Number 10, be respectful in disagreements. No calling names. No bringing up old hurts. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. Not throwing things in his face that he shared with you in a vulnerable moment. Girl, if you want your husband to shut down, if you want your husband to tune you out, Take something that he has shared with you in a vulnerable moment, in a space where he opened up himself to share something so vulnerable with you, and you turn around and throw that in his face in a disagreement, and then you want to know why he don't want to talk to you. Do you want to know why his heart does not safely trust in you? I'm not saying he won't ever trust you again, but girl, you're going to have to do some work to get that trust back. They already are not the most talkative people on the planet. They're not the most talkative gender on the planet. And then you're going to take something that he shared with you because you're in the height of a disagreement and girl, I'm telling you, don't do it. Do not do it. It may come right here. You get right. Don't say it. Don't let that out your mouth. Do not let that out of your mouth. Do not let that out your mouth. Be respectful in disagreements. Number 11, be your spouse's biggest encourager. Let me tell you something. There may be a season of time you need to do that by faith. There may be a season encourager. You may, it just may be that time. You may just be so pissed with him that you really just need to just do that by faith. But be his biggest encourager, not his biggest critic. Be his biggest encourager, not his biggest critic. Never pass up an opportunity to compliment your husband in public. If you've been following me for a while, you've heard me say this. Keep your business in your house. Keep your business off of social media. Your husband should so safely trust in you. Y'all could have had an argument, been fighting and cussing like ninjas on the street, go to an event, he drop you off at the door while he goes to park, you walk in. When you walk in, he see you in the corner with your friends. He could be so confident in your relationship that you're covering him, that he knows without a shadow of a doubt that you're not sharing what happened with you all with your friends. Do you have that? Are you that wife? Will you be that wife that when you've had a disagreement, when you've had an argument, when y'all need to settle something on the way home, on the drive home, that if he walk into a room, he can look over there and see you with your friends and he know that you're not talking about him? Or are you that person where he knows beyond a shadow of a doubt, every girl in that circle know about your business right now? Does his heart safely trust in you? Proverbs 31:11. Number 12, keep a sense of humor. Keep a sense of humor. Yeah, life be lifing. Life is lifing. Do you hear me? There's enough going on with life within itself. We just need to keep a sense of humor. Everything is not going to be that deep. There are some things that are. I'm not discounting the deep things. Don't hear me say that. But there are some things that really, they ain't that deep. Keep a sense of humor. Keep a sense of humor. Lighten up. Lighten up. Laugh. Do a YOLO. You say, what's a YOLO? You only live once. Something that just out of character. Just keep a sense of humor. Keep a sense of humor. And then the last one is, don't be afraid to speak up. Do not be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to share what's hurting you. If your husband is someone who has a harsh tone, let me give you something that you can say in love, that you can say to him. He has a harsh tone. He's just who he is. Some people are wired like that. Some people have to work harder at being warm and empathetic and genuine because that's their personality. But let me give you something to say to him when you're dealing with a husband who has a harsh tone. One of the things you can say to him is, would you speak to me like you love me? Will you speak to me like I matter to you? And it can't be, listen, let me tell you, you yelling back at his tone, that ain't gonna work. Speak to me like you love. No, that's not what I'm saying. Will you speak to me like you love me? Humility. Humility. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to share what's on your heart. Don't be afraid to tell him what's bothering you. Don't be afraid to tell him what's not working in your marriage right now. Don't be afraid to tell him that you're going to get counseling because you need some guidance. Don't be afraid. You fear no man. The Bible said the fear of man brings a snare. There's no need to fear. Fear is of the enemy. God is not giving you a spirit of fear, but of love, of power, and of a sound mind. Do not be afraid to speak up about things in your marriage that may be challenging, things in your marriage that are bothering you. Asking God to give you how to say it, when to say it. Timing is everything. It will make or break a relationship. It will make or break a moment. It will make or break a moment. Timing is everything. Don't be afraid to speak up. These are just some practical things I wanted to give you for communication, because it is a learned skill. It's a skill. It's something you're going to be getting better at and learning until Jesus comes. We're human beings. We don't hear it right all the time. We don't get it right. We all have challenges. We do. These are just some practical things I wanted to share with you on how to improve your communication. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.